part of the reason why we see some
Damn, I'm the exception.
boys go to other races is because his first example of femininity wasn't feminine.
He didn't want that. He didn't want that headache. Because when we come home, we want peace.
Matter of fact, it's a movie about it. I think it's called. I think it's called Brothers. Bill Bellamy's character, his mom didn't like him because he looked too much like his dad.
Ooh.
And that's why Bill Bellamy dated white women, because he never got love from his mom. But again, we don't have these conversations.
Wow.
We only talk about women's horror stories.
You know what? The both of you is just like your daddies. Full of it.
I done heard that my whole life. How long you gonna look at us and see them? I know what they did is wrong, Mama, but me and Tyrell, we didn't do it. Can we get a little love?
I raised you. That's love.
Then prove it, Mama. Can you give your son a kiss and a hug?
I'm too old for that now.
You can't do it. Can you?
You acting crazy. Just stop it.
Mama, when was the last time you gave me a hug? What was it, 10 years ago? What, right after Tyrell's father left? Mama, 10 years is a long time. Come on, Mama, I'm waiting. Give me the love, Mama.
Get out of my house with this nonsense.
But our women weren't like that at first.
They weren't, yeah. And that's why I know they can be better, and that's why we having these conversations.
The first woman I ever had a problem with, ever had any type of issues with, anything, has been my mother. My mother and my relationship has been on shambles ever since I was a child. You know why? Because it's the individual she is. I always thought, like, people always say, oh, Robert, you're the problem because of my reputation and all this other shit that I have gone through. But then I really thought about it and I said to myself, I'm 36 years old. My mom is 65. And she's still acting the same way she was acting when I was 17. Something's wrong. Something's off. This woman does not go to therapy. She talks about people all day. She has this evil spirit on her. Like, she uses manipulation. She doesn't listen. It's just so many problems with my mom that it starts to make me think, why was my dad running? When we were younger, my dad was preparing to move back to his home country where he came from, in the islands, in the Caribbean. My dad was running from my mother, and I couldn't understand why. And now when I sit down more and more and I think and I speak and I say to myself, it's the woman that she is. It's the person, the individual that she is. I'm here with my mom. She just had surgery for cancer 2 weeks ago. I'm here with my mom, trying to help her, trying to take care of her. And when I tell you the relationship that we have is so rocky, it's like how? How after being around an individual for a certain amount of time, the relationship didn't grow and blossom? We're in here in this place, walking around each other, not even speaking, no communication. You know why? Because I've been confronting her. I went to therapy for 11 years. Before going to therapy, everybody that was around me, when you on some bullshit, and I was on probation. So I can't have my freedom jeopardized over somebody who chooses to be on some bullshit. Like, even when I was walking with my homies, after I got fucking community service, 40 hours of community service for 6 fucking months, because a person that I knew, I was driving his car and he was a registered felon, and that is a violation. Any of my peoples, we all felons. So you can't walk with me just in case we get stopped by the police, because police was jumping out on niggas doing stop and frisk. And just when they run your ID and they see you a felon, you get grabbed. You gone. Just stick with me. I had a friend, I learned collectively. I had a friend who was a felon that was sitting in a house that got raided. And because he was in the wrong place and he was around another felon when they ran the IDs, he had to do 7 years. He had to finish out his parole. He had to go max out and do 7 years. What? So collectively, I always thought, and I used my brain. So when I'm walking with my friends, they got to walk 15 feet ahead or 15 feet behind. We know we with each other. We just can't walk next to each other. We got to walk separately. So I've always protected myself when it came to dumb shit. So anytime somebody doing dumb shit, I'm correcting that shit. Cause it's like, yo, I gotta get my life back. I gotta get my life back. So moving through, you know, dealing with individuals that I see that are doing things wrong after I've gone to therapy for so many years, and I'm sitting here talking to you, and I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to you, and you're invalidating what I'm saying. I'm talking to my mom. She does not validate what I'm saying. I'm speaking to my mom. Excuse me. I'm speaking to my mom and she's not addressing anything that I'm saying. I'm bringing up the issues that I see that she has. And as soon as I finish talking to her, she picks up the phone and she calls somebody else and she starts talking to somebody else. She takes no accountability for her actions at all, with nothing. My mother doesn't apologize to me for anything, for nothing. My mom apologized to me for the first time last year for everything that I had to go through in my childhood. Because of her, I was abused by my dad. She didn't stop it. My mother's a corporate zombie. She's one of the worker drones. Like these people out here that just work, and they don't care about their children. I'm going to keep it so high. I'm not saving nobody. I went through so much shit in my life for no reason, things that could have been avoided if people actually took the time out to say, you know what, this is not right. Everybody just focused on themselves. Everybody just focused on themselves. All my mother ever did was just focused on work. You know what all she does is just complain about bills. It's like, that's all you talk about is bills? You're going to die with those bills. When her mother died, when my grandmother died, she died with the bills that she left me, and I had to pay the fucking rent of her apartment when she died. When my dad died, he left us with bills that we had to pay and take over. So when you die, the bills are going to be right there. They're not going to go anywhere.